Welcome learners, we are in the class of classification practice in knowledge organization. Today in this class we are going to learn synthesis of class number according to colon classification 7th edition. In today's class we give the outlines of some basic classes such as biological sciences, earth sciences, plant sciences, medical sciences, and then useful arts, mysticism, fine arts and literature, language, linguistics, religion and philosophy, behavioral sciences, geography and history, political sciences, economics, and their special isolates are given in part E in their respective chapters. Now let us start with biological sciences. Capital G star capital Z denotes agglomerate of biological sciences, which include biology, specials in biology, environmental divisions of biology, and some of the adjunct basic subjects such as cytology, microbiology, biophysics, biochemistry, and so on. Biochemistry and biophysics are newly formed fused main subjects. There is a brief schedule of special components to go with 1P1 in 1 to 8 isolates in the basic subject biology. These are 1 front, 3 right, 5 back, 7 left. It may be clear from one example. Say, for example, the title is Anatomy of Right Brain. So, the basic subject is biology, denoted by capital G. Brain we get from 1P1, 7 and the special component here is right. So, special component to 1P1 right is denoted by 3. So, right brain is denoted by the notation 7(2)-3 and anatomy we get from the 1MP1 matter property isolate and denoted by the notation 2. So, the class number is capital G, 7(2)-3 semicolon 2. Another example here, classification of tobacco mosaic virus. Here the virus tobacco mosaic is to be denoted by the alphabetical device. As we know, two words may be taken together with the plus sign. Next we discuss the agglomerate capital H star capital Z Earth Sciences. Here we show some of the basic subjects in Earth Sciences as given in chapter DE, the schedule of basic subjects. For this, see pages 57 to 67. The basic subjects are again divided into the canonical subdivisions, such as canonical classes of physical geology are H1 mineralogy, H2 petrology, H3 structural geology, etc. And other canonical classes are H6 paleontology, H61 paleobotany, H62 paleozoology, H7 economic geology and others. Facet formula for each canonical class has been given under respective class. See chapter EH in pages 207 to 212. Now the plant sciences. It is agglomerate denoted by I star Z, both capital. It is the scientific study of vegetative life and plants and their families. It includes botany, then specials and environmental divisions of plant sciences as enumerated in the schedule of basic subjects in chapter D. Some of those are creeper plants, climber plants, insectivorous plants, desert botany, marine botany, etc. The facet formula and the special isolates are given in chapter EI. For this, see page 212 to 215. Next, the agglomerate of agriculture and forestry denoted by capital J star capital Z, which include agriculture, forestry, agronomy. Some of the systems, specials and environmental divisions of agriculture as presented in the schedule of basic subjects in chapter D are shown here. Here we can get specials in agriculture, agriculture in extra normal environment, and that is maybe division by END, that is environmental division, and the raising of livestock is a main class, capital K capital X animal husbandry, within the scope of the agglomerate capital K star capital X animal sciences. So in animal sciences we have in CC7 the basic subjects K zoology and specials in zoology denoted by K-9 capital A. Zoology in extra normal environment, division by environmental divisions denoted by capital K-9 capital L, and adjunct subject animal husbandry capital K capital X. See chapter D, the schedules of basic subjects, and chapter EK for special isolates. The agglomerate of medical sciences denoted by the notation capital L star capital Z include capital L medicine, L9A specials in medicine, LA systems of medicine which may be derived by chronological revise, and some of the basic subjects of L medicine as given in chapter DE are given below. These may be physical exercise and sports, and then the specials in physical exercise and physical exercise and their illustrations like walking, gymnastics, cycling, another agglomerate of ball games, and then medical technology, pharmacognosy, systems of pharmacognosy. So there are many other adjunct classes in the agglomerate of medical sciences. We have mentioned a few of them here. Next, the basic subject useful arts denoted by the notation capital M. This class holds books on crafts, technologies of the nature of cottage industry and other miscellaneous engineering and technology subjects not enumerated in classes capital A to capital L. This class has been divided into various basic subjects, and for this you are advised to go to the chapter D schedule for basic subjects and also to chapter EM in part E, that is the special isolates for the basic subject useful arts. Few of the canonical classes or basic subject within the coverage of M useful arts are ceramic articles making, apparel making, woodcraft, masonry, home science, beauty culture. There are many more. Next we discuss mysticism, denoted by the Greek letter delta. Mysticism is a unique main subject, with the exception of capital N fine arts, capital O literature and capital Q religion. It is possible for all subjects to be represented from occult viewpoint. In such case, delta may be directly divided by that main subject. As for example, vision of disembodied souls is denoted by the notation delta, comma. Here it may be noted that we have used capital O capital Z, then comma 16, then semicolon 5. When P1 is absent but P2 is present, then P1 is to be substituted by capital O capital Z as per chapter E delta rule small b 102, page number 239. Another example is lakes in Hindu mystic experience, denoted by the notation delta, comma 2, comma 254. Here the P2 has been divided as two nature in P1 of NF sculpture as instructed, and we get 254 for the notation lake. So we get the notation for lakes in Hindu mystic experience delta, comma 2 for Hindu and 254 for lake. In case of a biography of a mystic, the digit small w in anteriorizing common isolate is to be replaced by small w capital T. So, in the notation of life of Joan of Arc, who survived from 1412 to 1431, the notation will be delta semicolon 6 double quote w small w capital T, then I12 for the time isolate 1412. Next we move on to the agglomerate fine arts and literature, denoted by capital N star capital Z, and in this N denotes fine arts. Some of the adjunct subjects of capital N Fine Arts as provided in chapter DE are presented here. Some of them have their own facet formula and a schedule of special isolates. You have to see chapter EN in part E for these special isolates, and style in fine arts corresponds to system in many of the other basic subjects and is to be got by geographical and chronological device enclosed in parentheses. Next, move on to the agglomerate language and literature denoted by the notation capital O star capital Z, and it includes the basic subjects literature, linguistics, biolinguistics, sociolinguistics, applied linguistics, mathematical linguistics, linguistic cybernetics. The schedules of literature remain mostly unchanged from the previous edition of colon classification, except that the subforms of the facet P2 literary forms have now been provisionally given in rule section small b 281 of the chapter EO. The facet formula for the literature class is O, language, form, author, work, all in first round, different levels of personality facets. When P1 is absent, it is to be substituted by capital O, capital Z. The indicator digit, comma need not be used for P3 isolate, as the preceding P2 isolate number, that is the form number, will always be of one digit. See chapter EO rule B37 in page 249. In colon classification 7th edition, the P4 isolate is mostly got by alphabetical device, unlike the previous edition, that is we know in colon classification 6th edition, the work number in P4 of literature class is to be formed. Here we present an example, Henry IV part 2. So it is a drama by Shakespeare. So English drama, the class number will be O, 111, 2, then year of birth of Shakespeare, so J64, 1564, then HE plus 4 plus 2 devised by alphabetical device. HE denotes Henry, then 4, Henry 4, and its part 2. Next we move on to basic subject linguistics denoted by the notation capital P. The facet formula is P, 1P1, 1P2, 1MP1, 1MM1. So P language, element, property, method. In 1P1 facet, language and relevant rules are to be taken from chapter DG language isolates. And when stages or variants both are present, the sequence of these components prescribed by rule 9a is language, then stage, then variant. Next, we give an outline of the agglomerate religion and philosophy denoted by capital Q star capital Z. And again, capital Q star capital ZZ is the agglomerate of religion and ethics, including Q religion, then philosophy, and their systems, specials, and canonical classes. And some of the adjunct subjects of religion and philosophy are aesthetics, schools of philosophy, etc. You have to follow chapter DE in pages 57 to 67 for different basic subjects under these agglomerates. Next, behavioral sciences denoted by the agglomerate capital S star capital Z and include capital A star capital Z, psychology and education. Then again it includes psychology, specials in psychology, environmental divisions of psychology, systems of psychology, and other adjunct subjects are psychobiology, applied psychology, psychometry, psycho-cybernetics, and here the agglomerate capital R star capital Z, that is the philosophy and psychology ends. Again, in behavioral sciences there are other component basic subjects such as T star Z social sciences, which again include T education, specials in education, systems in education, and additional related basic subjects such as educational psychology, educational sociology, educometry, educational cybernetics, and thus the agglomerate capital S star capital ZZ ends. Next, we discuss the agglomerate of geography and history denoted by the notation capital U star capital Z. It includes geography and different canonical classes of geography such as mathematical geography, physical geography, economic geography, travel, statistical geography, and so on. Again, agglomerate of history and political sciences denoted by capital V star capital Z, which in turn include history and economics denoted by V star capital Z, including history, historical resources, and with this geography and history U star Z ends. Next, agglomerate of history and political sciences is denoted by capital V star capital Z, which in turn includes agglomerate of history and economics V star double Z, and agglomerate and political science, and the adjunct of basic classes political sciences are public administration, geopolitics, international politics or international relations, etc. Again, V star double Z denotes the agglomerate history and economics, including history, economics, and there are different divisions and different component basic subject and adjunct basic subjects. These are the outlines of different agglomerate and different basic subjects as delineated or enumerated in chapter DE, the schedules for basic subjects. With this, we have to follow the part E for the special isolates of these basic subjects along with the facet formula of special isolates for macro subjects. Here we present some examples. Oxygen physiology in respiratory system, basic subject biology, then respiratory system in 1P1 facet, then physiology 1MP1, that is matter property, and oxygen matter material. So the notations are shown here, and the notation for matter material is to be got from the 1P1 facet of E1 general chemistry as instructed. Therefore, the class number will be capital G, 4, then semicolon 3, semicolon 160. Again, biophysics of respiratory system of birds. Here we see the notation for the basic subject biophysics is capital G, capital W, capital C, and respiratory system of bird is to be derived by using subject device. So, the zoology, then aves or bird from 1P1 of zoology basic subject, and respiratory system there of bird for 1MP1 4, and the respiratory system of bird, the notation will be capital K, 96, semicolon 4. Therefore, by subject device we get the biophysics of respiratory system of bird is GWC within parenthesis K, 96, semicolon 4. Another example is description of marble rocks in Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. Here the basic subject is petrology, denoted by the notation capital H2, and marble rock there is denoted in the 1P1 by the notation 2133, and 1MP1 description is denoted by the notation 13, and Jabalpur is a space isolate individual population cluster by using alphabetical device preceded by 0. We get Madhya Pradesh 4455, then is equal to sign 0, capital J for Jabalpur. Therefore, the class number is synthesized as H2, 2133, semicolon 13 dot 4455 is equal to 0, capital J. This way we may follow the other examples shown here with the schedules and rules of the colon classification 7th edition. Here we also present one example for phase relation, that is training elephants for circus, and one example for using anteriorizing common isolates and the level 1 and 2 personality facet of anteriorizing common isolates. Students are advised to follow these examples with the scheme of colon classification 7th edition. In the class today, we have discussed the outlines of different agglomerates and their component basic subjects along with the canonical components, systems, specials, environmental divisions and other adjunct basic subjects, and how they form a part of the universe of knowledge. We have also shown some examples to explain how the class number may be synthesized for subjects following the facet formula of special isolates for macro subjects. While following this class, I emphasize to keep in hand and follow the colon classification 7th edition to learn the synthesis of class number according to colon classification 7th edition. Colon classification 7th edition is developed analytico-synthetically, and innumerable number of subjects may be classified according to this classification scheme, as innumerable number of isolates in the basic subjects may be existed in different subjects, and with the analysis of these isolates we may construct the subjects and their notations according to colon classification 7th edition. While following this class, you have to follow the schedules and the rules of the colon classification 7th edition and in the respective chapters, and some examples in the self-assessment part are also given. Try yourself to solve these problems. Thank you. This is all for today's class.